What is going on, guys? DBG here, and in this video we are going to honestly be just talking a little bit about the 250k tournament, as well as that what we are going to be doing is reacting to a video from Ty, because obviously a lot of stuff has gone on with the 250k tournament, and there were kind of a lot of things that 2K kind of messed up, and Ty, obviously looking at it from the position of a player, I'm somebody that, without, like you guys know, I didn't qualify, but I obviously love watching competitive MyTEAM. This should be a show, and honestly, I think it's one of those situations where this tournament could bring so much more to MyTEAM, and it's just sheer. It's not even laziness from 2K, laziness from the devs, because I can guarantee you that all the devs for 2K want this tournament to be great. All the MyTEAM devs want this tournament to be great, but unfortunately, it doesn't appear that they're given the resources to do it. But anyway, we're going to watch a video from Ty right now. But before that, basically, what 2K do with all these tournaments, if you guys don't know, they basically they'll have their own stream and say, we're streaming the official, like, showcase. And in 2K19, what ended up happening was Ronnie 2K actually decided, while he was showing all the games, he decided just to leave, and his console went on to standby. So 2K was like streaming a standby screen on Xbox for like 4 hours, because Ronnie just left. He just got up and left. And then other weeks, what we've gotten recently is the 250k tournament is meant to have this big watch party we're popping into people's streams. But all they did was, it was Ronnie in one corner, just a random logo in another corner, or the leaderboard, and then Quentin Richardson and another NBA player, and they just talk. Like, they just talk while a couple of hundred people are in there wanting to find out about the tournament, and they just can't, because there's 2K's actual stream about the tournament doesn't actually talk about the tournament. So what I'm going to be doing is basically, I am going to, on Twitch, have like a full show for MyTEAM Unlimited. I will have a preview video, which I'm going to upload on Saturday right before I go live. So basically what I'm trying to do is, I'm currently in the process of messaging all of the players, getting player profiles for every single player. I'm currently in talks with getting like another co-host, someone to host it with me, a couple of people, and closer to it, I'm going to be trying to get some interviews with some players, things like that, just to try to get them bigger, or just to try get them more known. A lot of players, because obviously most people know about Ty, most people know about Splash, a lot of people know about MJs, but after those three, like maybe Ramo for the league, like a lot of people are kind of unknowns in terms of qualifying for this tournament. So that is just something that I am doing. But anyway, that is enough for the intro. Let's go to Ty's video. He looks happy here, but I'm telling you, he's not happy. So, fed up with 2K. The 250k term is an unorganized disaster. And, like, you know it's bad because, like, Ty, again, Ty's one of probably 6 people who have a chance of winning. There are about 6 or 7 people, I'm not going to mention who they are, they know who they are, that have a chance of winning. And the fact that there is only about 6 or 7 people that have a chance, it leads to another problem that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But, yeah, let's watch this.
Video, it's your boy Ty back here with another video. Now, this video is not going to be my typical, just normal video, which I'm super excited, because I'm honestly very upset. And I'm going to talk about a lot of things that are kind of on my mind that I've honestly haven't really been comfortable talking about, to be completely honest with you. But before we dive into that, if you are new to my channel and haven't yet, please smash the subscribe button.
Yep, hit that sub button, get him to 50k. Get Ty to 50k.
For MyTEAM content every single day as we are on the road to 50,000 subscribers. So I got a lot of things here to talk about, and it all it's literally all in regard to the 250k tournament that is somehow miraculously going to happen this weekend. And
yeah, that's one thing I will never understand. Like, 2K, first of all, like, spoiler alert, 2K have not sent any emails out to people that have qualified. They literally have sent no emails out to people that have qualified. The game is meant to be, like, it's meant to be in 4 days. 2K normally gives 72 hours to respond to their email to confirm your spot. Like, if these don't come out, like, if they don't email them tomorrow morning, like, it's highly unlikely emails happen today at this stage. But if they're not emailed tomorrow morning early, they're not even, by the time the 72-hour, like, window where they have to respond is over, the tournament will have already happened and be done. Like, it's madness.
And I don't know how it's going to happen with the way everything is going on.
We know it's going to happen. It's going to happen badly. It's going to happen badly right now.
So the first thing within the 250K tournament that I'm going to talk about is how big of a mess qualifiers are. And if you don't know, basically all you have to do is get to the Emerald tier in MyTEAM Unlimited, which is winning like, what, 4 out of every 12 games. And then the qualifiers itself are just a disaster. I got an error code in week 1, in which the thing that 2K fails to realize is that if people didn't get error codes, the qualifiers would look a whole lot different. That's the first thing that 2K needs to realize. So, not that it is what it is. I'm not going to go back and like make a big deal of that.
Yep.
But the qualifiers would look a whole...
The error codes are so big because you literally, one loss and you're out. Like, one loss and you're out. I think if they're going to do this same system next year, they got to do something like... Because if it's one loss and you're out, all of a sudden that means that if you get error coded, if something happens, if you get 70% glitched, you've lost out on a chance at 250k, potentially. Like it happened to Vardo. With an hour to go, he got 70% glitched, and he was 20 minutes sitting on the 70% screen before his opponent eventually quit the game. If you don't know what 70% glitch is that both people get caught in the menu where it says 70% loading in the corner, and whichever person stays the longest will end up not even getting a win, just won't get the loss. If you quit in that screen, you'll get a loss. So like for Vardo, if he quit, he was out, and he ended up qualifying. But we don't even know if he qualified because none of the freaking qualifiers from 10 days ago got emails. But what 2K should do basically for their qualifying system, this is my thing with how to do it. Because they want everyone to be able to play in the tournament. And from their perspective, it's more understandable. From Ty's perspective, obviously he's looking at it like when he's complaining with the Emerald tier, that like there's a lot of like absolute scrubs to play, which is true. But from 2K's perspective, I understand why they make the like qualification thing quite easy. So my thing would be to stop, like it doesn't even necessarily stop Rage Quits that much. Well, to stop the tournament being as bad as it is right now, what I would say is you play games. Every win, you get 100 points. Every loss, you get minus 50. So that means that, but you can still play. Like you can play in those 4 hours up until something like, I don't know, let's just say 5 losses. Let's just say you can play up until 5 losses. So that, one, it discourages stalling. It discourages people stalling because obviously the game's kind of half done by rage quits. People will be a little bit more likely to quit if they're getting blown out by 20, and it just makes it a little bit... It doesn't even make it less luck-based. It just means that it's less luck-based if you get one loss. But what I would do is I would have that qualifier in a 4-hour period on Saturday. And then on Sunday, have the final 32 people qualify, something like that, into like a single elimination tournament on the Sunday. And then everyone plays off, and whoever the 4 last people remaining, whoever the final 4 is in that tournament, ends up being the guys to go through. Again, it's through to the final thing. The final tournament has to be on land, but is it an ideal situation? No. I think one of the ideal situations is what Ty will say later on in the video, do it like ESL. But the big problem is that 2K wants to make the MyTEAM tournament inclusive. So for me, I'm trying to look at it in a way that 2K can get as many people playing as possible, because let's be real, this tournament is just a cash grab for 2K. But there's no reason why it can't be both a cash grab and good. And that's when I'm thinking about this game, like you gotta understand when you're talking about this game, everyone, that this is always this is always for profit. Everything 2K does is for profit, but there's no reason why they can't both do something for profit and do something that will be good as well, because the better things at 2K is the more profit they're going to make at the end of the day.
whole lot different. If error codes, which aren't even the user's fault, aren't even our faults playing the game.
Splash.
If
Splash,
they were not
Jin.
a thing, right? The qualifiers would look
So many got error code.
For example, I got one week 1. Jin Sanity got one week 1 and week 2, or qualifier.
I got one week 1.
Qualifier 2, and just like that, bang! Your chance to qualify for the 250K tournament is cut in half because 2K.
For me, my chance of qualifying was gone because I stopped playing after qualifier 1, and that was when I was in my like 250 win streak. Bring back week 1 DBG. We need to bring back week 1 DBG at some stage.
Fix their servers, and Jinsanity was definitely top 5 in both of those.
Jin's one of the best players in the world.
I definitely feel super bad for Jinsanity and obviously everybody else who did get error codes. Considering 2K had a sponsored stream by Splash Edition in which he got an error code live on stream. Like, it's very obvious, guys. If you don't know it by now, 2K does not care about this tournament.
No, they don't care at all. By the way, they don't care at all.
My reasoning behind that is more than just those error codes. For example, once Splash did qualify, I think it was the second qualifier he qualified, 2K does these background searches or whatever it is on these accounts. Now, what do? I have no idea.
Nobody has any idea why people are being DQ'd. They don't tell them why they're being DQ'd. Like, Crymouse qualified in 2K19. Like, no, again, there might have been something up with Crymouse. But there was, like, I've been talking to Crymouse. He has no idea why he didn't get picked. Like, he's oblivious to it. Like, they don't just say, you failed the background check. They'll just give your spot to somebody else and not tell you why, even if you're finished top 4. Like, Crymouse is convinced, I'm not entirely sure if this is the case, but he's convinced that they DQ'd him because there was a known cheater called Cry Now on the Xbox side. That's the only reason that he can think of why he's DQ'd. Obviously, 2K might have a reason, but, like, they don't even tell people. Like, the people that have been DQ'd, they don't even tell people. Like, there's been a few very obvious ones, like people gaining like 900 points in one game. Like, if you guys don't know, to get 900 points in a game, you need to win that one game by 300 points. So, like, I can kind of see, like, them ones are obvious, but like the Crymouse one, maybe he did something wrong. But he doesn't know if he did anything wrong. Like, once the final 4 were in, there was no chance. There's no chance of anything being changed. And I was talking to him. He still has no idea why he isn't in. Like, obviously, I don't think he tried out the last time where he wasn't top 10 at all. But
basically, on the PlayStation side,
it doesn't make sense.
But 4 other people got emails to be in the
Splash situation. If Splash wasn't Splash, he wouldn't be in.
Now, T-Loading ended up qualifying at a later date. Didn't respond in the 3 days or whatever, so that is, I guess, how Splash got his email. But Splash was top 4. Splash was above T-Loading on the
Splash only got in because he had a tweet complaining they got 500 retweets.
So if you guys don't think that's a disaster as a whole,
it's the only reason Splash
got an email is because of his Splash. It's
the only reason Splash got in.
And that's
good. Arguably the best player in the world.
Splash used his platform to
only
get an email, but that's not okay for 2K not to send out an email to a guy in the top 4 to send one to, where was he, 6th or 7th on the boards over Splash. Like, that is not okay, and it's just like the qualifiers in 250 are just an absolute mess, an absolute disaster. To go along with that, here's the thing. They decided. But
yeah, I was just, if you guys were wondering why I was there, I'm just getting this tweet from Splash. Splash literally tweeted out, he finished number 1. He might end up being like the number 2 seed or 3 seed in the tournament. Like, thankfully, he got 500 likes, 58 quote tweets, 52 retweets. A lot of people that know devs. This is what they said. Contact support. We're investigating a situation. It looks like all the emails have been sent out. If you didn't get one, it's because you didn't qualify. If this tweet didn't basically go viral in amongst the 2K community, Splash was not qualifying. Like, what?
To patch the excellent script Zens after 250K. Not after 250K, after the 250K qualifier. So this past week, yes, they patched the excellent script.
Center Zens.
I don't know.
Like, 2K have literally, they say that they're banning Zens. They are. Like, they've said it, or obviously it's in a TOS that you can't use a Zen. But, like, at the end of the day, it's not even that they've banned Zens, it's that they've no way to prove anyone's using a Zen because they're not going to force hand cam as far as we're aware. Like, the center script still works. If somebody quick stops into a center 3-pointer, I'm telling you they are Zenning. If somebody is using no meter, if somebody's using no meter stick and they're hitting like 80% of their shots greens, they are zenning. Call a spade, they are zenning. The problem is that 2K don't actually have a way to prove it. For all they know, we could have some absolute demon who's able to do this into a perfect center every single time. Even though it's nearly impossible for a human to do it. But there's no way to prove it. So somebody's going to be center zenning in this tournament. I can guarantee you people have zen to qualify.
Know exactly everything about it, but the thing is, it just goes to show that the Zens were in the game. Were they used by some people who have qualified? I almost guarantee
100%.
At least one person in this tournament
100%
qualified while using a Zen. I almost guarantee it. Now, I don't have any video evidence.
There are confirmed people that have qualified that.
They got right on that.
Not confirmed to be zenning in the qualifiers, but confirmed to own Zen. Some of them qualified.
But that's not the qualifiers. Obviously, are the, in my opinion, one of the worst parts. There's a lot of bad parts about this 250K tournament. To go along with all that, if you guys do know anything about the Play Now tournament last year, which was sponsored by ESL, the way that qualifiers work are a lot better. Now, granted, they still weren't perfect because people were going 8-0 and not getting in the tournament.
I will say, though, that the way ESL was like a sponsored tournament. That tournament didn't bring any revenue to 2K. The qualifying system from ESL, without question, doesn't bring in the money 2K wants. It doesn't bring in the money 2K wants.
7-0, 7-0. They would play each other. Only the top people would qualify. It's basically play
it
until
works,
you lose,
but it doesn't bring the money to 2K.
Tiebreaker went to strength of schedule. Now the strength of schedule didn't really end up working how they pictured, but they had the right idea behind it. They put in effort to make it right. They flew everybody out that qualified. It was
Globals
so
great.
Much more
Globals is great last year.
Effort for it was so much better. Because here's the thing, guys. Here's the biggest takeaway that I have from this 250K tournament. Right now, February 6th was the day in which the last qualifier took place. Today's date is February 16th.
Nobody knows who qualified.
Days. And we still don't have confirmation on who qualified. It's been 10 days.
And like, there should like, still to this day, they're like, we're investigating. I don't understand. One of the qualifiers on Xbox is this dude's other account. What, like... Why does it take 10 days to just say some guy qualified on 2 different accounts? Let's not put one of them through. Like, how is that taking 10 days to investigate? Like, I can guarantee you, I'm not going to accuse anyone, but I can guarantee you either on this or on PSN, there's at least 1 or 2 Zen men. As long as you make sure they can't Zen in the tournament, they're screwed anyway. So it's not the biggest deal in the world if a Zen man gets put through. But like, 10 days. The only problem with the Xbox squad is that it's pretty much confirmed some dude qualified twice on 2 different accounts.
If you can't get it figured out in 10 days, that's a problem. Okay? It should take you maximum 1 day to background check these accounts, make sure you guys get the right people in. It shouldn't be difficult. I don't know what's the deal with 2K. At least communicate with us, because guys, we are 4 days away and we don't even know the seedings. We don't know who we're going to be playing. We don't know what time we're going to be playing.
The EU guys,
and that's
the EU guys or not the EU guys, the Americans, because there's 4 EU guys on the PS4 side. The guys from US don't even know if they have to play a European. So they don't even know if they have to get prepped for a lag just in case they get lagged. The Europeans don't know if they're playing a fellow European or an American. They have no idea. And it's not too bad because everyone's in the same continent in the US side or in the Xbox side. The PS4 side's bad.
And to go along with that, 2K needs, and when I say needs, they need to require face cams for this tournament. They 100% need to.
100%.
Now, will they? No.
This is what they have to do.
Because they do not care. But they 100%
This is what they have to do. Get somebody.
Face cams. Now, I'm not going to go
set up their own Discord.
To why I think they need to require face cams.
Set up their own Discord. Get people to go on their phone. Literally, put their phone somewhere, faced up, zooms in at them, and then if needed, if any questions, they can tilt their phone, like the phone looking at them, they can tilt their phone towards the screen if there's any questions. Simple as that. As well as that, if there's any questions about Zenning, they can put up their controller to show that there's no attachments. Like, it is that simple to stop Zenning and people playing on, like, people, I can guarantee you, again, on either side, people are going to be playing on other people's accounts. Like, people, like, for example, I'm not going to give a name because I don't know any of these guys, but if somebody knows they have no chance of winning, as I said, it's about 6 or 7, but yet there's a guy who didn't qualify because of the wrong system, or could win the whole thing, who's to stop them just saying, you know what, you play for me, and if you win, we split the money. Because you're either getting nothing, or if we win, we'll split the money. Like, There's nothing right now to stop that from happening.
But all I'm gonna say is if I, let's say 2A Roko, I could very easily, not to say I will, because I obviously am confident in myself, but what I'm saying is people could have other people play
100%
if they really wanted to.
100%.
2K doesn't require face cams. It's bound to happen by at least one person in this tournament. Come this Saturday, it's bound to happen. And so if 2K doesn't put in the effort to require face cams, expect, I mean, that to happen. Will it make a difference in the tournament? I don't know. I can't tell you that. But just expect people not to be playing on the, and that's the biggest thing for me too. Even during qualifiers, I guarantee more than one of these accounts is not by the qualifier itself. If that makes
more than likely
sort of sense. But that's just another thing that goes into it.
Like there was nothing to stop. There was actually, like, just thinking about it, there was absolutely nothing to stop me hitting up, like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think who's the best player in here. Me hitting up Vardo and going to Vardo. Say if Vardo qualified week 1. There's nothing to stop me hitting up Vardo and saying, or me hitting up Danny Rifle, who qualified in the first time, and saying, you know what, can you go and qualify on my account? Or try qualify on my account. I'll pay you X amount of money if you do. There was nothing to stop me doing that. Like, so I can almost guarantee, again, I live streamed all 4 quals, but I can, like, there's no way that in a tournament worth that amount of money, and that hasn't happened. There's no way it hasn't happened.
Fire system is just an absolute disaster. And their background checks obviously have proven that it's just a mess, right? With them not sending Splash an email and then sending it to him later, there's just been a mess all the way around this whole entire year. And 2K's got to fix this for next year. Like, it's not even a question.
Yeah, this year's a write-off, by the way. It's an absolute write-off.
I'm going to say that right now. Because if they're not going to put in effort for this tournament, why are we putting in effort and money into qualifying, into spending money and getting our teams right, when we don't even know who the qualifiers are from 10 days ago? 10 days ago.
This is just 2K's way of making money.
10 days.
2K don't care about the tournaments.
The tournament's in 4 days.
They don't care about the tournaments.
Those people who were top 4 on the boards, they don't even know if they've qualified. They don't know if they should be getting their team right for this upcoming weekend or not, because you guys can't send an email out to them after 10 days.
But like, even like Gaming God finished, I think he's like 6th on PS4, and one of the 4 qualifiers in PS4. Nobody knows, nobody saw him qualify. The guy is like a legit demon at the game, but it's confirmed that he has stream sniped people with a Zen, confirmed in the past. So nobody knows if he was Zenning or not. But so there's potential that he's gone. There's potential that one of the guys he was 15 years old in his Twitter bio. So Gaming God was 6th, which meant there's potential for him to get through. But nobody knows. So he just sold his team. He just sold all his players. He just said, screw it. I assume I'm not qualifying. Sold all my players. What happens if they email him on Friday or something and say you're qualified? The guy doesn't have any players. Like,
now, this tournament
too much money on the line to do that.
I promise you it will be, because the structure of it is awful. There's no rules set. We don't know what difficulty we're playing on. We don't know any rules on pause timer. And you can say, oh, you're already playing on pause timer. What happens if I'm tied in the 4th quarter, dude's pause timer runs out and it says quit or continue? What happens if that happens against me and somebody quits the game? Do they get the win? Is that how it's going to go to?
Also, the big thing I realize is the difficulty is so important. Like, if the game is on online versus difficulty, which is like somewhere between All-Star and Superstar, versus if the game's on Hall of Fame, the entire game changes. Your entire playstyle has to change. 3-pointers go in at a significantly higher rate. So your entire game, the higher the difficulty, the more like it becomes a rim run simulator. And the more someone like, say, like you'll need Splash or MJs to really excel 3 hunting. But like, if it's on that normal online difficulty, a lot of these competitive players don't even scrim on that difficulty. So their whole game has to change. Like, it doesn't make... This whole thing just doesn't make sense.
I don't know anything. Because in ESL, at least, it was like you get 2 pause timers. Whatever the case may be, there was structure, there were rules. And honestly, that's part of it. That's part of what's such a disaster about this. Nobody knows what difficulty it's played on. Nobody knows the rules behind it. Nobody knows anything. All we know is we gotta be ready on Saturday to show up at a random time. We don't even know.
They don't know what. Nobody knows when it starts.
And just hope to.
Nobody knows when it starts.
It's just an absolute.
Like, nobody knows when they're playing. It's madness.
Am I going to show up and play in 250K? Absolutely. Am I gonna do? I'm gonna do my thing. That's one thing I'm gonna tell you. Like, whatever 2K is doing, I can't worry about that. I gotta be locked in on Saturday. But I'm just saying, for you guys on the outside, I want you guys to know that this is a disaster. I hope 2K realizes how much of a disaster this tournament is. 250K, guys, is a lot of money for me. But for 2K, trust me when I say this is not a lot of money for 2K. You would be shocked.
They make at least $250 million every year from packs. They make, judging by like their kind of annual reports, considering from what I've seen and what like I've heard the percentage, and they make over 2K as a company make over $1 billion for microtransactions. From what I've heard, around 50% is from 2K. I could be wrong with this. Again, speculation just from what I have heard. And then you have to assume that MyTEAM makes at least 50% of their VC transactions. So I don't think it's unrealistic to say that like if FIFA makes 1.8 billion, it's not unrealistic to say MyTEAM probably makes $250 million. Like, yeah, it probably makes 12% what FIFA, or maybe 15% what FIFA Ultimate Team makes. Yeah, I reckon that's a safe guess. Like 250K, $250 million. Like, it's 1/100,000th of what they make in a year.
By how much income 2K makes. And so it's like, if 250K, they just throw it out there, try to make more money off of sponsoring this 250K tournament, which they probably do. But here's my thing. 2K should make more tournaments, first of all. But bigger than that, they need to care. Like, they need to care about this tournament.
They just need to run it properly.
It's very, very obvious that they
pay
don't care anything about
$100,000.
this tournament. So, unless a lot of things...
Pay $100,000, hire 3 or 4 people to run this tournament properly if it's going to be all offline. Or put $100,000 to the side to make it like a lantern. Obviously, with like lockdowns, you can't, travel restrictions, you can't do that now. But like, it's been the same for 3 years though. There's been no lockdown restrictions for the last 2 years. It's been the same. It's the same BS different year. Like,
things happen in 4 days. And by a lot of things, I mean this. They get the exact right guys in today. By the time this video is released, who knows? They might have sent the emails out. But they got to get the right guys in.
It's like 6 hours ago. It hasn't happened.
Right guys. There's a lot of drama about the last qualifier. So I understand them taking their time, but 10 days is too much. So they got to get the right guys in. They have to communicate to the qualifiers. Let us know. This is going to be played on Superstar difficulty. This is going to be played on Hall of Fame difficulty.
They've never told them the difficulty, by the way. They've never told them the difficulty.
And then after that, please, I'm begging you. It's too late for it now, probably, but face cams need to be required in the future. If you're going to be playing for $250,000,
it's not too late. Tell them to get into a Discord, get their phone, put their phone down somewhere, lean it against something, a box, have it there, videoing yourself, and if there are any questions about what is going on, tilt the phone at the screen. If there was any questions, if there were questions a certain person playing before the game, make them like press a few inputs and show it on the screen. As well as that, if there was any questions about their controller, just make them show what their controller is. If it's a wireless controller, you're automatically not zenning. Like, simple things. But I can almost guarantee you 2K don't do it, which is a big problem. Like,
and you can't make 16 people require face cams. It's not hard to do, 2K. It's not. It's all about effort. And if you guys look, if 2K is not willing to put the effort into making this tournament better, then why are we what are we really doing here too?
Because of this right here. Because of the fact that it's a life-changing amount of money. It is enough money that anyone who plays this game at a competitive level is always going to put in the effort to try to win it. Because I can almost guarantee you that almost everyone that plays in this tournament, for myself, obviously I'm not spending money. I'm under no illusions I'm not going to qualify. Or I'm under no illusions that I'm going to win. Like, I reckon there's probably a 10% chance I qualify every time I enter one of these. So, like, I think it's possible. I'm probably at the level where it's a possible qualification, but I'm never at the level to win. So, for me, it's not that. But for Ty, Splash, Ramo, Skip, like, even the likes of, from what I've seen, Smokehouse the Demon, I'm just looking at the screen now, on the PS4 side, Jen's a Demon. There's a lot of unbelievable players that I just can't think of, MJs that I can't think of off the top of my head. Of course, if you are at that level, it doesn't matter how bad the tournament is, you are going to try and win it. Because, let's be real, 250k, not only can it be a life-changing amount of money, It can do what happened to Ty last year in the Global Championships. It can skyrocket any sort of a social media into a career, into like a career that, if it keeps going the way it is, could end up being that much money each year. So like as bad as it is from 2K, people are going to keep playing it. And that's the annoying thing, is that where it's like staying completely silent on this. If I'm so happy Ty made this video. I'm so happy he made this video, because he's someone with a voice. It's bad publicity. The fact that his video is coming out, the fact that I'm reacting to this, is bad publicity for 2K. Maybe it'll change something for next year. And obviously nothing's going to change by Saturday. Maybe it'll change for next year, because not only should this tournament be a lot better ran, this should be the equivalent of like the MyTEAM Super Bowl for MyTEAM. This should be a tournament that brings in new players. This should be a tournament that gets people trying to play this mode. And more so than anything, if 2K did all of this and made it more of a big deal, I mean, there's no doubt about it, they make 10 times more than this prize pool in additional money. Like, they will make, if they ran this tournament properly, they would make at least 2 million extra money. Or $2 million extra. Like, them running this tournament as badly as they've ran it is losing the company money. So it is just sheer laziness. I can guarantee you that the way they're doing it right now is actually losing money than if it was ran properly. Obviously, they're gaining money because of the tournament. If it was ran properly, they would be making a lot more money than they are right now with the tournament. But it's just sheer neglect from the higher ups in 2K, because I can guarantee, like, this is the worst thing, is that you're going to be attacking devs, you're going to be attacking social media guys. They have nothing to do with it. I can guarantee you the MyTEAM devs want this to be a good tournament. I can guarantee you the people involved in this tournament want it to be a good tournament. But the problem is that the people that actually have the power to change the tournament don't care.
2K. What are
like,
we
devs
really
don't have the
doing
power.
here?
They don't have the power.
I get it. 250K is a lot of money for every single one of the qualifiers. But what are we really doing here as far as 2K is concerned? Just throwing this together, and it's just an awful ran tournament. It's awful. It's absolutely terrible. And I got so many more words, and I'm just angry. Like, that's the best way to describe it. I'm just angry because I feel bad for the people who have qualified on February 6th and don't know if they're for sure in or not. And it shouldn't even be a question. If this, like I said, in ESL, the way it was ran last year, you knew the night of whether you qualified or not.
100%. And all the cheaters, they got rid of them within 24 hours, all the cheaters were kicked out. Within 24 hours, all the cheaters were kicked out in ESL.
10 days, 4 days.
But obviously, that's not a realistic system.
Internet will eventually release the bracket. Even last year, 250 wasn't like this. We knew at least a week in advance what the bracket was going to look like. This is just an absolute disaster. I don't think the tournament's going to be delayed, but it would probably be the best thing for 2K to do, because this is just an absolute
yes and no. They put so, like, the fact is that I can almost guarantee you that everything 2K does is almost everything 2K does is to appease their shareholders. Their shareholders don't care about the video I'm making. They don't care about the video Ty's making. But if they see, if this tournament gets delayed or cancelled, you better believe the mainstream gaming media is going to be picking up this tournament, and then that's a bad look for 2K. This tournament's happening Saturday, and if it doesn't happen Saturday, it's an even worse look for 2K.
A disaster. Unless 2K pulls out a lot of
in the public sense, that is.
Expect Saturday.
Like, if they delay it, it's a good look in terms of the community. Yes, it'll be positive, but in the public sense, this tournament being delayed will it won't be good for 2K.
Would be a disaster all the way around. That's my final takeaway, guys. Let me know yours down below in the comments. Qualifiers, disaster. The email is being sent out, a disaster. Error codes, a disaster. Boosting, I haven't even talked about that. People boosting to get in, a disaster.
Yep, multiple people. I won a game by 90 points and got 320 points. Multiple people somehow going up by like 700 to 900 points in games. I win by 250 to 300 points in games.
So much wrong with the structure of this tournament, and I'm going to be upfront and honest with you guys. It is very, very bad. But it is what it is. Saturday comes around. Hopefully they get a lot figured out by then. But I didn't feel right not making this video, because it is very bad, and it's frustrating as a qualifier not to know my first round opponent, not knowing what time I play, not knowing what difficulty it's on, not having a required face cam for my opponent. There's just a lot that goes into it that I personally hate. If I know in FIBA they required hand cams for the possibility of a Zen, why?
I mean, they required hand cams for the final. I mean, Puerto Rico lost to Like, the game that Puerto Rico lost, I don't think I saw a mistimed shot. I can't remember what team they played against. I don't think I saw a mistimed shot against Puerto Rico in the game that they lost.
Can we not require face cams? I'm just saying. It's for $250,000, and the effort that goes into this is very, very minimal. So that's just kind of my final takeaway. Let me know your comments down below.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, I'm making this video because this tournament has the potential to be something, or the 250k tournament, not even the 250k tournament. This tournament, the way it's run right now, has got no potential to be anything other than what it is right now. But competitive MyTEAM, like, there is a viewer base. There's a reason why, like, a competitive MyTEAM game gets more views than a competitive Pro-Am game. Like, if Ty played Splash in the final, and 2K had no, like, Ty versus Splash in a 250k final, no, like, again, in the community, that will get more views than, more, like, actual views than any sort of Pro-Am game. And I'm not talking about embedded views because they're being showed on the NBA Facebook page. In terms of actual viewership, actual engagement, competitive MyTEAM, like, in terms of, like, the way the league is ran, like, I don't agree with league build, but the league's ran very well by the NBA. I will be the first to admit that. But, like, 2K themselves have just completely neglected this tournament. This tournament is something that's just thrown in on the side to make them extra money. And it's very, very clear 3 years in a row that this tournament is something that 2K do not care about. And the only reason it's there is to make them more money, which is unfortunate. But hopefully that can change. Because hopefully 2K can see, like, I'm still going to have my show at the weekend. I'm still going to try hype this tournament up as much as possible. And do whatever I can to make the tournament as big an event as possible for these players, for the fans. Because you just never know. If, say, for example, if at the weekend I'm pulling in 3,000-4,000 viewers a stream, maybe someone in 2K is like, look, there is actual people that are interested in this. Let's go and do something ourselves to make it a little bit more hyped for 2K22. That's just what I'm hoping. There's potential for that. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. A link to Ty's channel will be in the description. And again, it's just a mini rant video, a mini reaction to what Ty has done. And this tournament, as he says in his title, the tournament is an unorganized disaster. And I don't even think 2K's biggest fanboys can argue that it's not. And to be fair, though, if we're talking about next gen, I'm fanboy number one. I love next gen. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.